there's actually a story. Nick Cage actually got him into acting. They hung out because of one of their girlfriends, and then they became friends. And Cage was like, hey, you should try out acting. And he actually got him on an audition for A Nightmare on Elm Street. And then Wes Craven loved his audition. The rumor is that Wes Craven's daughter really liked Johnny. Hello, movie friends. Welcome back to the show. We are super excited to be here talking about Johnny Depp. I actually wore a special shirt for this episode.
Yeah, is that Juliette Binoche from Chocolat?
No, that's Winona Ryder.
Is that Winona Ryder?
Juliette Binoche.
It looks like Juliette Binoche.
No,
Chocolat.
that's Winona Ryder.
Is that Winona Ryder?
Juliette Binoche.
It looks like Juliette Binoche. That angle, like her chin looks like Juliette Binoche.
Oh my, no, it's Winona Ryder.
I was like, is that Winona? But then I was like, is it Juliette Binoche? She kind of looks like Juliette Binoche in that photo. It's not
at
like
that angle, although
not
Juliette has a much sharper nose than Winona.
I get it, but like the angle, it doesn't 100% look like Winona. If you know what I mean.
I think it 100% looks like Winona.
I mean, it looks like it, but it looks like...
So when I showed it to you earlier, and you were like, oh, that shirt's great for it, you thought it was Juliette?
My immediate thought was, is that Winona Ryder? And then I was like, maybe it's Juliette Binoche because it looks like she's eating a piece of chocolate, or actually it's probably a cigarette.
Oh, no, it's from Heathers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't seen Heathers in a while. It looks like Juliette Binoche too, or she does.
But fun fact, it's actually a piece of wardrobe from our short film. I got a bunch of pieces of wardrobe because I wasn't sure one of the characters to wear a t-shirt, and I wanted to do a graphic tee. I wasn't sure what exactly to get, so I got a bunch of things at a thrift store, and it actually is very soft and comfortable, and I love Winona Ryder, so I was like, I'm going to keep this for myself.
Yeah, Winona's great.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a highbrow, like artsy film thing. Because
nobody would know what that movie is.
That's what I mean.
We'll talk about it.
Chocolat, Juliette Binoche stars in that with Johnny Depp, but she's also a French actress in a lot of great movies. Oh, with The English Patient, she's really great in as well.
She's also fluent in Italian and is in Italian films as well.
Because she's
smart.
She's European in culture.
She's intelligent.
Versus Americans. Yeah, we speak English pretty good down here.
She is one of the best actors alive, in my opinion.
She's great. Yeah. Which of the Three Colors movies is she in? Blue?
She's in Blue.
Okay, yeah.
They're all amazing, but hers is more about grief, and it's really a powerful film.
Yeah, I thought you were like throwing people off with how
I think it's obvious. I'm going to stand up for the camera.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like both of them. It doesn't. I'm telling you, just the angle on the shot, it looks like it could be either one.
Are you
of those women?
Are you out of your mind? They're just two brunettes,
two wonderful and talented
extremely
and beautiful.
Successful. Way better at way more talented than we are.
Way more talented, like beyond talented. I mean, Winona was like such a prodigy.
She worked in a Scorsese movie when she was like 24. It's crazy.
It's pretty wild.
Tim Burton, Scorsese,
and I mean, we all know she was supposed to be in Godfather Part 3.
Yeah, so
at a very young age as well.
Yeah, hired by Coppola. So imagine that in just a few years in your 20s. Isn't that crazy?
Acting with some of the biggest actors of all time. But yeah, that's pretty cool. You threw me off. I thought it was like, I'm gonna get him. He's gonna think it's Winona Ryder, but it's actually Juliette Binoche.
You look like
eating chocolate.
You look like an idiot.
You look like a fool.
You look like a fool.
I do look like a fool.
Anyways,
Alora,
let's get into Johnny Depp, who I think is one of the most interesting actors of the last several decades. I think he's a really interesting guy too, off camera, because he's a full-fledged musician, and he started out as a musician and kind of was a reluctant actor.
Yeah, he was a guitarist first, right?
Yeah, he wasn't full-time, but he was just working odd jobs as a guitarist, and he had a bunch of bands in L.A., and that was his dream and his goal. And there's actually a story. Nick Cage actually got him into acting. They hung out because of one of their girlfriends, and then they became friends and drinking buddies.
Was it Juliette Binoche?
Yeah, it was Juliette Binoche. Yeah. And Nick Cage and him became drinking buddies, and then Cage was like, hey, you should try out acting, and he actually got him on an audition for A Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Wes Craven loved his audition. The rumor is that Wes Craven's daughter really liked Johnny. And
who doesn't like Johnny?
And so I think it helped him get the role in A Nightmare on Elm Street. But that's how he got his first ever role, was because Nick Cage got him the connections to get to an audition for that.
You know what's interesting? When you watch that movie now, I mean, 40 years later, and after watching Johnny in his career, growing up watching his movies for so long, he had such like an adult Johnny Depp sounding voice. Like his voice sounded the same as it kind of does now, like in the 2000s, I feel like. And then like you hear him screaming like, "Oh no!" and like the Johnny Depp voice. I'm like, he sounds way older than he did, because some people have like a more mature voice as they're younger versus when they get older.
Well, I mean, Austin Butler has a very deep voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it depends on the person.
His Elvis voice.
Well, I think he just trained his muscles and then his vocal cords just transformed.
I think a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of actors, they train their voices to sound different as they're getting into their craft. It's the same thing as like a radio show host. You have to train your voice to speak more loudly.
Wow, man of words.
Words are tough. I lost my train of thought. What the hell was I saying?
You mean like better diction?
You have to project.
Clarity.
You have to project more.
Yeah.
But projecting more, not by screaming, but projection that you learn, like singers learn or vocalists learn.
Oh,
gotcha. Project your voice by strengthening your muscles in your throat and everything, rather than not screaming, but you're projecting a little louder. A lot of people train their voices as actors.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That's why a lot of actors sound sexy as hell.
Yeah, Johnny did have a deep voice because he didn't seem like he would, but he does. And I mean, he was such a. What I always find really cool about him is his reluctance to be a star until obviously the 2000s with Pirates. But in the 90s, he was so averse to stardom and so averse to fame because he really blew up with 21 Jump Street. That made him a teen idol and superstar and the heartthrob of Hollywood. But he rejected it all, and he kept pursuing weird movie projects and film directors that no one had heard of, and taking chances on these weird, bizarre movies. And I really do respect his career choices for most of his career. In the 2000s, it's kind of questionable at times. But in the 90s, he was making really terrific choices for being the most famous actor alive. And he could have made so much more money, but he decided to just keep making these interesting projects. I have a lot of respect for him as an artist and as an actor.
He made that money in the 2000s.
He made the money eventually.
Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I believe his movies have in total grossed over $9 billion at the box office. Hold on, I have it right
Something
here.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, his movies have grossed $8.3 billion when he's the leading actor, in addition to other roles he's done. And his top highest grossing films are obviously his top 6. 5 of them are the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The first one is not The Curse of the Black Pearl, but the one that came out in 2006 is that
At World's End.
At World's End is his highest grossing one at 1.06 billion. But his top 3 are 2 Pirates movies, Alice in Wonderland, then 3 more Pirates movies, then Fantastic Beasts, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. So he's obviously worked in franchises in the 2000s. But you're right, in the 1990s, he made a ton of great movies, a lot of really underrated movies, as well as having small roles in movies like Platoon that maybe people don't realize that he is in that movie as well.
Yeah, he's a really interesting guy. But I would say you could argue he's the most talented actor to never win an Oscar.
3 nominations. He's only got 1 Golden Globe. That's all he's ever won.
Yeah, I think
he won the Bahamas Film Festival Best Actor Award, but
congrats, Johnny. That's his prized possession. No offense to the Bahamas Film Festival, if that's a real thing or if he made it up. Is it legit?
No, No, it's real. It's real. He's won a Bahamas Film Festival award.
Nice, good for him. Good for him.
I skimmed the awards list, and I thought that'd be a funny joke to pepper in.
But it is odd. He's so supremely talented. He's made so many memorable and beloved characters to not win the award. It's very interesting. What did he win the Golden Globe for?
He won that for, I think it was the Peter Pan movie.
Oh, Finding Neverland?
No, Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd?
Sweeney Todd, he won the Golden Globe. He was nominated.
For musical.
Yeah.
Okay, because they separate the categories for actor and musical.
His
comedy.
nominations are for Best
Pirates,
Actor.
Yeah, Pirates, Finding Neverland, and probably Deadwood. Edward, I mean.
No, Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd?
Sweeney Todd.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Sweeney Todd.
Finding Neverland, and no, Curse of the Black Pearl. Yeah,
Pirates. Yeah.
So those are his 3 Oscar noms.
It's so rare for a Disney movie to get Oscar nominations for actors.
Well, not anymore because they own every goddamn company. Every time you go to the movies, that company's owned by Disney.
Legit.
It's like Paramount or Universal.
Yeah. But he really is, without a doubt, one of the most successful actors of all time. And obviously his films, like you said, grossed $9 billion and counting. He has earned close to $700 million as an actor. So we want to hear some crazy success stats?
Please. I am enthralled.
So Johnny Depp's films... Now this only is recorded from 2000 to like recently, so that's only this last 24-year span. He's grossed $650 million. That's not even counting the 90s, because in the 90s he was making movies, but they were super low budget, so he's never making big paychecks. So just in the last 22 years, $650 million, and obviously I think everybody knows he's a lavish spender, and in he's kind of squandered a lot of his fortune in a lot of ways, but I don't think he probably doesn't view it as squander. I think he's just living life. You only get one life, so YOLO. Why not?
YOLO. Wow.
Right now, and people think that actors like him and Nick Cage, they're bankrupt. They're not bankrupt. They're still worth like lots of money. So right now, Johnny Depp is still worth $150 million. Plus, he just got the extra, I believe it was $15 million for the lawsuit he won. So, in total, probably his biggest paycheck was for Pirates 3, which he got $65 million for.
Just straight up front?
So for the Pirates movies, he gets $25 million up front, and then he makes a lot on back end. And probably his number one paycheck, though, was for Alice in Wonderland, because that made so much back end.
The first one or second?
The first one. The second one didn't make as much, but the first one was a massive hit. And actors like him, they're not just getting the salary of $20 million, $25 million. They're getting 5% of gross. And that includes everything from merchandise to box office to DVDs to rentals. So
he's got checks coming in every month.
His royalties are probably still absurd to this day. But he is famous for being a lavish spender. So I have a list of things that he has spent a lot of money on. So
let's hear this.
He bought an island in the Bahamas for $3.6 million. I think everybody knows that he bought an island.
Yeah, that's where he got the award for
Bahamas, the best actor in the Bahamas. So this island actually had no housing at all when he first bought it. And so it has since been outfitted with solar panel buildings, a house with stunning 360 views for Depp when he stays there, and all sorts of stuff as well.
Can you imagine owning an island?
It's super cool. Also, 3.6 isn't that much. You could, houses in LA are that much.
The expensive thing is probably getting there.
Yeah. So that the actual logistics of owning an island is probably more expensive than the purchase.
And he probably has people that stay there 24/7.
Oh, there's definitely someone someone must stay there just to keep up and make sure like no one shows up like party. So he's actually famous for his monthly expenses as well. So at one point in time, I'm not sure if this is the case anymore, he was spending $2 million a month on bills. This is according to his management firm. So he would spend $300,000 every month on a 40-person staff, $10,000 every day for a security detail, $350,000 per month maintaining his yacht, which he recently sold to J.K. Rowling for $27 million.
Goodness.
Oh my God. $30,000 a month for wine, although he said that it was insulting to say that I spent $30,000 on wine because it was far more.
My guy.
And then $100,000 per month to his doctor to treat his addiction issues. He also bought a French village in south of France. He spent $75 million buying the village and also fixing it up. And so it's this big property, dozens and dozens of acres in a rural area of France. And it has, I think it's about a dozen homes. And so he bought the entire piece of land, refurbished the homes, and now he's looking to sell it. So he fixed them all up. And it seems like a good investment, although I'm not sure. From what I read, he's not going to get his asking price for what he wants for it. But, he owns a village in France, which is pretty cool. So
he's going to sell the village?
He's trying to sell the village, yeah.
To whom?
Rich people who want to... it's a nice area for, rich people to vacation, I would say.
I guess. It'd be cool to stay in Johnny Depp's town in France.
It has, a bar and a restaurant and all sorts of stuff. There's, a town, a village center.
There's some lady who sweeps the streets every day. She's just out there.
One of my favorite things he spent a lot of money on. So, obviously, he is famous for being friends with Hunter S. Thompson, the writer, and he even played his character in Leaving Las Vegas, and a version of him in The Rum Diary as well. But the Leaving Las Vegas one is more accurate to Hunter S. Thompson and what he was really like. The Rum Diary was more of it was a non-fiction fiction novel that he wrote. And when Hunter S. Thompson passed away, he asked Johnny Depp, he wanted to be shot out of a cannon, his ashes to be shot out of a cannon with fireworks, and the cannon had to have and be in the shape of a hand and have two thumbs. So Johnny Depp actually paid for all this, and it cost $5 million to do this cannon shot with the fireworks and to actually build that specific kind of cannon. But apparently it was a crazy party, and a bunch of A-list actors and celebrities were there to see off the ashes of Hunter S. Thompson. And, there's all sorts of things we probably don't know about. And the thing is, yes, it's wasteful, but it is his money, so he has the right to do whatever he wants with it. And he is not broke, certainly not. He's still getting a lot of residuals and a lot of royalties. And just because someone probably doesn't have as much money in their bank account doesn't mean they're still broke. The guy owns a lot of property, and his overall estate is still worth $150 million. And I'm sure I guarantee there's a studio that wants to make him a huge offer to be in something relatively soon. So even though he has spent a lot of money, he still has quite a bit of money, and I think he has a lot of potential to keep earning a lot of money.
And when it comes to actors who we've grown up with watching and who've been around for the last several decades, and even all time, Johnny Depp's in the conversation for possibly like a top 10 actor, male leading actor of all time. He has a ridiculous filmography, even before the 2000s, where, he's making a lot of franchise movies, obviously with the Pirates movies, Alice in Wonderland movies, making all these big roles. But before that, he was making great movies. I mean, his first movie role of all time is Nightmare on Elm Street. That is absolutely
one of the best horror movies ever.
1984. He's not the lead, but he's still pretty prominent role in that film. And moving on from there, he's in Private Resort, Platoon, Crybaby, which got him to becoming a heartthrob, and then obviously his TV series 21 Jump Street, where he was the lead for. Crybaby and Edward Scissorhands came out in the same year, and Edward Scissorhands was also the first collaboration that he did with Tim Burton, and it's hands down still their best movie they've made together.
I agree.
They've made some great movies. Nothing against their work together, but Edward Scissorhands is still a classic. It's a really underrated movie. I try to watch it every couple of years, and if you haven't seen it in a while, give it a rewatch. It's tremendous, and Danny Elfman's score is so magical. And then also, even movies like Benny and June, he plays a character.
He was nominated for it.
Yeah, he's terrific in that movie. Nominated for what?
Oscar.
For an Oscar?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
No? Oh, and a Globe. Sorry,
Golden
a Globe. Yeah.
He's got like 8 Globe nominations, yeah. But a character like that is so underrated on his career because he's got so many memorable ones in big movies, but even his character in that, he plays this film buff. But it's a really fun role where he's kind of like taking on the characteristics of film legends from the silent era because he plays this cinephile. So it's actually like a really, really relatable role if you're a cinephile and love movies like us and you can't help but quote movies while you're watching them and stuff like that. So it's actually a really great performance that not a lot of people have probably ever seen. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Really great role, really great movie. Ed Wood. Then we have...
List them all, bro. Just go for
moving up to... I'm just listing the bangers.
The bangers.
Donnie Brasco in 1997, starring opposite Al Pacino. Very underrated crime movie that no one ever talks about.
It's
I love that movie.
It's never put on lists, but it really could be up there for one of the best, for sure.
1989, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Then in 1999, he's in The Ninth Gate, which I adore that movie. It's so good. Sleepy Hollow as well. And then the worst movie in his career is probably The Astronaut's Wife, which is...
Or Mordecai.
But I don't know. The Astronaut's Wife is pretty
I've
bad.
seen some of Mordecai, and it's really bad. It's like really bad.
And then 2000, he's in Chocolat, which was a huge box office hit. 2001, he's in Blow and From Hell. And then Pirates of the Caribbean, that starts in 2003, also in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Secret Window in 2004. I love that movie. It's a great little mystery noir. If you've never seen it for the first time, it's a great twist.
You'll never look at corn the same way.
As well as Finding Neverland. He was in that year, which got him an Oscar nomination. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory 2005. Corpse Bride was his first voiceover work, which he's clearly very suited for. He's got a tremendous speaking voice, but he does great character acting for voices as well. I mean, not to mention
So
Rango.
that came out before Rango.
Yeah, Rango was in 2011, actually.
Okay. All right.
So then 2006, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. 2007, he had World's End and Sweeney Todd in that year as well.
Wow,
Sweeney
same
Todd got
year.
an Oscar nomination, and he revealed to the world that he has a terrific singing voice as well. Did all of his own singing in that. 2009, another big year. He had Public Enemies, which he made with Michael Mann playing John Dillinger. He's played like 5 real-life characters, maybe real-life people in movies before, maybe more. He also had one of the parts as Tony in The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus after Heath Ledger's passing, when him, Jude Law, Colin Farrell, and...
Them three.
Was it them three who finished up the movie for
the dream sequence.
For Heath Ledger. Then in 2010, Alice in Wonderland, which made $1 billion. The Tourist, which was a bomb critically and financially. 2011, he's got 5 movies that come out that year. So he actually has a
5?
Yeah, well, he got a cameo in Hugo, but he's a producer on that movie, which maybe a lot of people don't know. He's producing good movies. He's just a street artist that Chloe Grace Moretz and Asa Butterfield walk past while they're talking. He's just sitting there drawing.
That makes a lot of sense because he produced the film.
Yes.
His production company was one of the producing companies.
And then in 2011, he's also in Rango, which is such a terrific animated film. So 2011, Rango, Hugo cameo, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, The Rum Diary, which was meh, and then Jack and Jill, He plays himself. Not a huge fan of that movie, but there's a bunch of great cameos.
It's a cameo.
It's a cameo. 2012, he's in 21 Jump Street, reclaiming his role as Tom Hansen as an uncredited cameo from his old TV days, as well as Dark Shadows, not a very well-received film from him and Tim Burton. 2013, he's in The Lone Ranger. 2014, he's got another great cameo in Tusk, which is a very disturbing.
That's not a cameo. That's a role.
It's all right. Yeah, it's a
he's
role.
in a bunch of scenes.
He's also Into the Woods.
He's the
wolf.
wolf. Big bad
and then
wolf.
he's in Transcendence, which was not a good movie, and that was a bomb. 2015, Mordecai and Black Mass, which Black Mass might be his most terrifying role. I can't wait to go through all these roles because they're tremendous. 2016, another big year. He had Alice Through the Looking Glass, the sequel to the first film, then Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's his first time playing Gellert Grindelwald. Then 2017, Murder on the Orient Express, Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Lies, as well as Black Gondola. 2018, he's in Sherlock Gnomes. He plays Sherlock Gnomes. He's back as Gellert Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. And then he plays Richard Brown, the Professor. And really, he hasn't done much except for in 2020, he was in Minamata, where he played real-life photojournalist W. Eugene Smith. And then we just got our first image of him as King Louis the 15th in La Favorite. And so actually, when you go through his career, it's not a ton of movies, not a ton of roles compared to other actors who've been as active as him for the last 4 or 5 decades.
But also, he has the luxury of getting paid a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, but what's also really cool about him is even when he does the big budget, huge Hollywood studio movies, he still is a chameleon actor and still has a completely different look. I mean, to have Mordecai and then, when you say Black Mass came out in the same year, I mean, it looks like different people.
Yeah.
You know, it's so, even when he's in the studio system, he's still really stretching his acting muscles. He's really exploring different looks. And even though something like Mordecai is a bad movie, he's trying something different. He's not just phoning it in. He never phones it in, you could say. And he always looks like he gives it 100% and really dedicates himself to the craft. And I think that for actors, it's only a rare few really dedicate themselves into the appearance of their roles and to really put the work into transform the way they look. For whether it be a stupid little comedy like Mordecai or something serious like a crazy crime thriller based on real events like Black Mass. And he is always, no matter what the movie is, changed his appearance. He never looks like Johnny Depp in his movies. It's always a character.
Sometimes he looks like I feel like Ninth Gate and some others. He looks like Johnny Depp.
Maybe okay,
I'll River Chocolat.
No, well, he had super long hair in Chocolat. He looked like a gypsy.
I guess, yeah.
No, he had the huge.
What's his name? River Row.
Yeah, just Roux.
Yeah, River Row.
Row. But I mean, I suppose. But he's still, from movie to movie, it's always something different, even when it's the big movie. So I really appreciate that. Obviously, except for Jack Sparrow, who always has the same look. But Jack Sparrow is probably, I think, my favorite look of a character for him. But I just really appreciate how, even though he's getting huge big bucks and making a big budget movie, he's still putting in the work.
But I think a lot of people don't realize is they made the Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Disney made that movie. I doubt they expected they'd make 5 movies out of it and that they'd make $1 billion a pop later on. I mean, that movie only became a franchise because of Johnny Depp's performance, because of what he did with Jack Sparrow. We did an episode on the original trilogy
that was a good episode,
of Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. We discussed how the studio hated what he was doing with his performance and the design of the character and how he based it on, what's his name, the guitarist?
Keith Richards and Pepe Le Pew.
That's who he's based the character on. It's pretty damn accurate.
Pepe Le Pew is pretty... It's very outdated.
You know, lots of improvisation on set, and this is a huge movie. This is the Pirates of the Caribbean.
He was also
movie.
rewriting dialogue.
So the studio obviously wasn't planning on this to be as successful as it was. They probably thought it was going to fail because what they thought he was doing on set wouldn't work.
They didn't. I mean, I'm sure they planned on it making money. They didn't expect it to be the mammoth Goliath movie franchise that ended up becoming.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But I mean, they invested $200 million.
They'll make like $300 million.
They invested a lot in it. You know, they wanted it to do well, but. The thing with Jack Sparrow is Jack Sparrow was originally supposed to be like the straight-laced action hero, and Hugh Jackman was the original number one for that role, and that's who they wanted. And they were developing that script for Hugh Jackman to play like, the typical Hollywood brawny action hero. And it just didn't work out with Hugh Jackman, I'm sure, because of X-Men, my guess.
Did you say huge Jackman?
Well, I mean, he is huge. Huge Jackman. He's more like it. And then, obviously, they turned to Johnny Depp, who had the talent, but he also had the star power. He had never done a huge studio picture like that before. But he is, like I said, even when he's doing a big-budget movie, he still wants to be as incredible of an actor as he always is, and wants to push the boundaries of the story they're telling, and really wants to find a new character and to really develop this character. And he felt, I'm sure he felt so strongly about this take on Jack Sparrow and turning it into a comedic character with so much charisma and personality that wasn't on the page. And you're right. I totally believe that the Pirates movie, the first film, Dead Man's Chest, and then the rest of the franchise, it only worked because Johnny Depp was so fantastic and incredible in that role. And it's a testament to him as an actor.
It's clearly his best movie. It's his number one rated movie.
It's my favorite.
IMDb.
It's my favorite.
Everybody's favorite Johnny Depp movie for the most part. But I respect the hell out of this guy's career because of the choices he's made. He didn't really start doing these big blockbuster films really until the 2000s. And in between that time, he was making some bangers, man. Movies like Blow fly under the radar still. I feel like people should be still don't really talk about Blow because I think it's a really terrific movie. Not to mention, I love movies like Sleepy Hollow, as well as a bunch of others he did in the 1990s. Edward Scissorhands, obviously in 1990. Ed Wood is a really good movie he did in 1994. Not to mention, like we talked about, Donnie Brasco, a very underrated crime movie based on a real FBI informant going opposite Al Pacino. And it's ironic because it's maybe Pacino's most reserved performance. He's not really like Al Pacino going crazy. And then Johnny's kind of a very reserved performance in that as well. It's very nuanced.
Well, I think that Johnny is really underrated for what he can do with the understated, more stoic characters.
Yeah, I concur.
Because when people talk about him or make lists about him, and you'll just search like Johnny Depp characters, and it'll be photo albums or photo compilations of all the zany ones with the incredible outfits and wardrobe and makeup and hair. But then the other ones always get left out. But like movies like, I really love Chocolat. I think it's terrific, and he's amazing in it. From Hell is a really great Victorian investigative film about Jack the Ripper, and he plays the detective on the case. Another just quite understated, just reserved performance. And also Public Enemies, he's great as John Dillinger. But again, it's not too out there. It's not super chewy as an actor, but he still makes it work really well and does a lot of great stuff in it.
The thing with Public Enemies and John Dillinger, to stay on that for a second, is of all of the roles he took up until that time in his career, was 2009, he really never done anything quite like that. Kind of like just an evil character, or just this kind of dark person who we'd seen him do like dark characters, but they've always been protagonists that you truly root for, versus this guy being a murderer and a killer and a thief and like the most prolific criminal in the United States at the time. He'd never really done anything like that before. He'd done undercover work. He'd been cops in movies, but like this was the first time he took a character on like that was kind of just like a little more straight edge. But he even though it's supposed to be like an unlikable person, John Dillinger, even though he was like a celebrity to a lot of people, he brought so much like Johnny Depp mysticism to him, because Johnny Depp has that magical quality. No matter what role he's in, he's got it. He can make you fall in love with him even if he's a murderer.
Yeah, he has that. There's something infectious about him when you see him on screen, when you see him performing. And even with a minimal role like that, it's more very minimalist in terms of the approach, in terms of, obviously it's a Michael Mann movie. Michael Mann movies are a certain tone and style. And it's definitely not Tim Burton, And Christian Bale's in that movie too as Melvin Purvis, and they're both very understated characters and performances, but they work really well with the film that Michael Mann made. But I also think that, he does a great job in those. Also, Ninth Gate is terrific. He's like a book expert who's investigating this crazy. I don't want to spoil it but it's insane.
What a phenomenal
Yeah,
movie.
what a great
If no one's
movie.
ever seen The Ninth Gate,
Yeah, Roman
go
Polanski.
check it out. It's a Polanski
Yeah,
movie.
Polanski.
It's up there in like top 5 of his career. It's so suspenseful, terrific. I love anything with that kind of mythology of like angels and demons. And it's so
when it's done
fascinating.
well.
It's really interesting. It's a terrific performance from Depp. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. I like it a lot.
But my theory is that he obviously loves working in movies like that, and I mean, you're not going to say no to Polanski. You're not going to say no to working with Michael Mann. Obviously, I mean, it's Michael Mann. But it seems like with directors like Tim Burton and Gore Verbinski made the first 3 Pirates movies and Rango, so they had a great working relationship. I think with those directors, they really let him, just do what you want to do, bro. Just be you. Just do whatever, and really let Johnny stretch his imagination and experiment and try something really outlandish for the roles. And so I suppose that's why he always goes back to Tim Burton, and that's why they must have an amazing collaborative working relationship. Because, I'm sure other directors like Michael Mann probably toned him down in a lot of the ways. And obviously you're playing a real person, so you want to try to stay true to that. But I think that he enjoys working on the pictures that let him really do what he wants to do and explore the characters. And it seems to be like he enjoys it because he's an actor who's famous for not watching his own films. And for him, he says that the act of performing and making the film is all he needs and is more than enough for him, and that he has no desire to watch the films after they're made. And so he's just living the experience, and like the craft of acting is more important to him than watching it on screen, which is interesting.
He's a true chameleon too. When you're going through all of his roles, obviously most of them are made up. They're fictional characters, Sweeney Todd, the Mad Hatter, Jack Sparrow. But he's played so many real life people. Like just going down the list, we have Ed Wood, Edward Scissorhands. Just kidding. Ed Wood. He plays in Finding Neverland. He plays the writer J.M. Barrie, the guy who wrote Peter Pan. Donnie Brasco. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He's basically playing Hunter S. Thompson. We also have, let's see, more real people.
Public Enemies. Whitey Bulger?
John Dillinger, Black Mass, Whitey Bulger. He also plays a real character, a real person in
the teacher one, or the journalist one.
The Rome Diary?
Yeah, no, the journalist one.
Which one?
The one from 2018 or 2020. I mean.
Oh, the photojournalist.
Yeah, photojournalist.
Gotcha. Yeah, I brought that up earlier. I can't. What was it called?
I can't remember.
Me neither. So Minamate. So he's played real people like 7 or 8 times in his career. He's playing a real person in his next film, the Louis the 15th movie. So he's just a true chameleon, and it doesn't matter what he's doing, but he brings so much to every role and just loses himself inside each role. It's Johnny Depp, but he's one of those actors that they're unrecognizable. He brings so much to every performance, physically as well as acting-wise. I mean, the movie where he plays that cinephile, there's so much physical performance in that. He's a great physical actor, and obviously Jack Sparrow is one of the most physically comedic characters we've seen this century. I mean, hearkening back to Charlie Chaplin and Douglas Fairbanks, just great physical comedy and great physical acting that it's out of place for most movies and most contemporary films. In 99% of movies, you don't see characters moving the way he does as Jack Sparrow in that movie. It's kind of an old style of film acting, but it just works with him, and he nails it with Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, it's kind of, he plays so well off of everyone else because everyone else is playing it straight. You know what I mean? But it's hard to pick favorite movies. So we have a few lists.
Oh, we love lists.
So I have a list for his 5 worst movies, then a list for his 5 most underrated movies, then a list of his 5 best character designs, and then a list of his top 5 movies of all time. So
you want to run through some?
Want through some? Yeah.
Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do top character designs.
Top character designs for Johnny Depp. Let's see what I put down.
What do you got?
Obviously, number 1 is Jack Sparrow. The entire look is brilliant. It plays, when you're imagining a pirate as a kid, it's freaking Jack Sparrow. And that's if you're a pirate, you want to be Jack Sparrow. You want to be just like him. The look, the hat, the beard, the facial hair, the long hair, the tattoos, the flowing wardrobe,
the gold teeth.
Everything about Jack Sparrow plays, and the character design is tremendous and one of the most iconic and memorable character designs in film history. Everybody who has access to film, if they're lucky enough and fortunate enough like us, everyone knows who Jack Sparrow is.
Oh, yeah.
It's as famous as Indiana Jones.
Who's your number 2?
Number 2 for character designs, I have Edward Scissorhands. His most odd, hilarious, and nonsensical character design of all time that Tim Burton came up with his character, Edward. I love the suit. I love the hair, the very pale skin, the scars all over his face from being born with scissors for hands and trying to obviously grow up with that. You can see just backstory just from the character design of this person and his suit that he's made. And I think it just works so well with this nightmarish fairy tale. And it's just a trip of a character, and it just works so well.
Yeah. Number 3?
Number 3, I got Mad Hatter. It is so unique and flamboyant and colorful and interesting and looks almost alien, but it fits the world of Alice in Wonderland so well. If you're going to make a movie out of it in the 21st century, like the design they came up with Johnny Depp for the Mad Hatter, it's tremendous.
Yeah, wonderful.
Then I have Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber. Come on, it's great. The wig, the hair is great. The white streak. Again, he plays a lot of characters with very pale skin and dark bags under their eyes.
That's Burton style.
Yeah, and it's just like the Corpse Bride, obviously. But I think that Sweeney Todd's iconic look for a character design, and it's one of those roles that's been done not just in film, but it's just huge on stage and theater. And so
The Office did it.
Andy Dufresne.
Nardog did it.
Not Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne.
Andy. What's his last? Andy. Crap. What's his last name? Andy.
I don't know.
The Nardog.
Can't remember.
I'm blanking right now. You can tell I haven't watched The Office in a while when I
can't. Well, you haven't. I haven't seen you watch The Office in a long time.
Andy, The Office. Hold on.
Andy
Bernard.
God. The Nard Dog.
God damn it.
Nard Dog.
Yeah.
All right, what's your number 5?
Number 5, I have Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The design that they came up with based on basically Hunter S. Thompson's look is hilarious. It's just funny to see Johnny Depp, who's such a good-looking guy, with like that design of this like horribly disheveled person.
The hair,
got this huge like comb-over balding going on. He's got the sunglasses, the big cigarette stick, and the visor, the jackets. It's just a great character design. Some of the best physical acting you ever see in a movie too, as well. But I think the design is just so fun.
Yeah, it's a great pick. All right, here are my top 5. At number 5, I have Black Mass, Whitey Bulger. Character design was really terrific, and they added like this texture to his skin. They made his skin look old. You know what I mean? And when he's wearing the outfits, like the bomber jackets and those sunglasses, it's like, oh my God, this guy looks like a killer. And it was so intimidating on screen.
Plus the blue contact lenses, the blonde hair. They did a great job transforming him. His teeth looked off, too.
He did look quite like him. Yeah, he looked a lot like him. Next up at number 4, I also have Sweeney Todd at number 4. I love the design. I love the hair. The pale skin. It's Tim Burton namesake. He likes it the actors to feel like porcelain dolls, is what he says. So that's why the actors are always so pale. And also like the outfit is great. Like his main outfit is great. But then I really like the stripes like romper he's wearing on the beach. It's really funny. It's so funny. And next up I have Edward Scissorhands, for all the reasons you said. It's such a unique look. It's so imaginative, but also has the horror element to it, like all Tim Burton things. Really special design for a character. I especially like all the scars all over his face, because he has this like innocent quality to him, and then you see the scars on his face, and it's like such a damaged person or being. He's not even technically a person. You know what I mean? He's more of a robot than he is a human being. But then you see his eyes, and his eyes show the soul of that being behind that disheveled, crazy hair and the scarred up face. Really terrific design. I also have Gellert Grindelwald.
That's a good choice.
I really like the design of the character. J.K. didn't go into too much description in the books about Gellert Grindelwald's look, but what Johnny Depp came up with was really fantastic and surprising. The super bleach blonde hair. He almost has like an albino quality to him. And then the glass eye. And his outfit. So in the second film, in The Crimes of Grindelwald, you get to see like the undercut, the hairstyle, his cool outfit, and his wand. I really liked the character design. It was very unexpected. And when you saw him for the first time at the end of Fantastic Beasts 1, you're like, oh my God, it's Grindelwald. It was crazy.
Is he wearing a glass eye?
I believe he has a glass eye.
So Johnny's wearing a glass eye?
I believe so. Yeah. I might be.
I thought it was just contact lens because Gellert has heterochromia.
Oh, it might be. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, my bad.
So yeah, it's heterochromia. That's when you have two different eye colors.
Different color eye colors. Yeah.
It's actually more common than you think. Actors and actors actually have it. Mila Kunis has heterochromia.
Wow.
In case you ever noticed, she got like one green and one blue eye.
Oh, cool. Never noticed that.
There's like a handful of celebrities that you'd be shocked.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I
holy
bet.
crap, they have different color eyes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so Gellert
It's a
has
mutation.
heterochromia, and I love how one's just pale white.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's why I thought it was
looks
glass
like
eye.
a glass
Yeah.
eye. It's just very creepy.
But I found the design of the character to be, because it's a famous character and everyone was anticipating the look, and it didn't disappoint. It was very cool.
Did not.
And then at number 1, to no surprise, I have Jack Sparrow. Obviously.
You have heard of me.
Well, you have heard of me. And it's not so much that what you would expect a pirate to look like, because when I was a kid and I imagined pirates, I imagined like Blackbeard and just like dirty, grimy, big hulking guys with huge beards and just like a peg leg, stuff like that. But then,
Peg leg. You've been watching too much SpongeBob.
Well, the peg leg is famous for pirates.
Yeah.
That's a famous thing.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
And yarr. But then you see Johnny. He's got like the beads. He's got the hair, and then like his chin beard is beaded down, and the gold teeth and all, like you said, the tattoos, the bandanas are great. The bandanas really help sell it. But then the wardrobe is really just fantastic. He's got the vest and the baggy shirt, the boots, like everything about it. And I love the character design of that. And I think the first time you see the eyeliner is actually very important to the Jack Sparrow look.
So hot.
So hot right now. And I think everybody, when they saw Jack Sparrow for the first time, and he has an amazing introduction in the first film when the boat's sinking.
With the great music.
What a great character introduction. It's gonna be all-timer.
It's just a great movie.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Gore Verbinski is an extremely kind of unspoken of director.
I watched The Ring recently on a plane.
The Ring's great.
It's still terrific.
It's great.
It's a little corny and campy here and there, but it works so well.
It really does. And so he made The Ring, and then he made the Pirates movies. He also did Rango, and he did Cure for Wellness. He's a very, very good director, extremely underrated, I think. But he obviously worked really well at Johnny Depp. And the first 3 Pirates movies are some of the best action-adventure movies of the century, without a doubt. And all 3 of them are very good. And the first one is just absolutely fantastic and very much a perfect film.
They're actually pretty comparable to the Indiana Jones trilogy in terms of like how audiences like them, and in terms of their filmmaking qualities too. Obviously, the first one of each you could argue is the best, but the third one of each is also very good.
Yeah.
I mean, Last Crusade is such a great movie. It's hard to pick sometimes Raiders over that movie, in my opinion, because it kind of depends on the mood, which one you like better. And plus, I mean, same thing with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah.
I love the first one, but second one's excellent. The third one I love.
Yeah. In the second one, you get Davy Jones and everything. It's so cool. And then at World's End, it's just so epic. So,
it really is.
Massive in scale. And they did a terrific job concluding like that before they kept making them.
If you guys haven't listened to or watched our episode on the first 3 Pirates movies, I highly recommend checking it out. We did like a year ago. It's such a blast. We love those movies so much, and we went in depth on them.
Oh, yeah. You want to go into our intermission and then do the rest of our lists? And then keep chatting about Johnny?
I guess we could do that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Before we continue, the best way to support Raiders of the Lost Podcast is to become a patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. You get access to different tiers of patronage: $2, $5, $10, $25, and $100 tiers. Each one has awesome perks to them, so go to patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Support the show the best way possible by becoming a patron of the show today. Thanks so much. And our live show is happening very soon, Saturday, January 21st, 2023. Obviously, that's the year it is right now because it's a new year. You can get live tickets to come in person in Los Angeles, as well as digital live stream experience tickets to broadcast the show as it's happening live from anywhere around the world. The live in-person tickets are at dynastytypewriter.com. Just go on the calendar. You find us there on January 21st. And the digital experience live broadcast tickets are at moment.co/Raiders of the Lost. You can also get links. Find these links in the bio of this episode on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as the Instagram bio, Twitter bio of our show. We'll have access to the link for all of those tickets. We hope to see you there, and we hope to have you streaming in live to our show.
It's going to be a lot of fun. This episode is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the number one place to get your posters online today. Head over to movieposters.com. They have a gigantic selection of all sorts of movies and TV shows in their poster library, as well as all sorts of sizes and framing for your poster needs. If you want a gift for a movie fan or to decorate your home with a bunch of movie posters, the number one place to do that is at movieposters.com. And don't forget to use our promo code Raiders10 to get 10% off your order. Again, that's Raiders10 to get 10% off at movieposters.com.
And thank you so much to Blackmagic Design for providing 2 of their cinema pocket cameras, the G2 6Ks. These cameras are so terrific. We actually used them to get some pickup shots on our short films, so we didn't have to rent a cinema camera. They are terrific quality. Again, the Pocket Cinema G2 6K cameras, if you're an independent filmmaker or videographer and you want to get that cinema quality, these do really make a huge difference versus like a DSLR or something like that. And it's really cool because these cameras have EF mounts. So if you're familiar with lenses in photography, they are compatible with Canon lenses as well as a bunch of other photography lenses in addition to terrific cinema lenses. Thanks so much again to Blackmagic Design. And Anthony bumping into the microphone.
Sorry.
Goodness, I'm trying to run ads over here.
Hey, it's okay.
Now Blackmagic's going to take the cameras back.
I like to see them try.
All right, let's move into our intermission. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Movie quote time. For the record, Metz wasn't out of tune. You were, Erickson, but he didn't know, and that's bad enough.
Whiplash.
That's correct. How about you give people a moment?
I did. I gave 2 moments. I actually just watched the short last week. It's good. It's basically the first 20 minutes of the movie.
It's cool that J.K. Simmons was also in that.
Yeah, I don't know how he got into contact with him to get in that, but I believe it might have been Sundance Labs.
Yeah,
is how he did that. All right, here's my quote.
So what we're talking about is J.K. Simmons acted in the short film that Damien Chazelle made of Whiplash, and which was actually made it a really good short because he's terrific in it.
All right, here's my quote. There's a saying, a very old saying, when the pupil is ready, the master will appear.
When the pupil is ready, the master will appear. Can you say that one more time?
There is a saying, a very old saying, when the pupil is ready, the master will appear.
I've watched this year.
What is it?
I mean, last year. Is it The Mask of Zorro?
Yeah, good job.
Thanks,
High
man.
five.
Is that Anthony?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I watched it like 4 months ago.
Isn't it so good?
It's awesome.
It's so good.
It's really good.
It's amazing. It's like it's a perfect action movie.
Such a fun adventure movie,
and
man.
Anthony Hopkins and Antonio Banderas together is it's amazing. It's so good.
Anthony Hopkins is awesome in it, and he's so damn good in it.
Yeah, I love it. I watched it a few months ago, and I was like, this movie still fucking rocks.
After you watched it, I was like, you know, I'm gonna watch The Mask of Zorro.
It's really funny
I haven't
too.
seen it in so long.
Great action,
really funny,
great physical comedy.
Antonio is dude. He's a legend in that movie.
He's so good in that. He's so cool.
I hope they make a new one.
They should, and Antonio can be the new master of the new Zorro.
Just make him Zorro.
I would prefer if he was still Zorro. You know that's not gonna happen though.
But man,
so the director of Casino Royale made that.
Oh no way!
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Martin Campbell.
Cool. It's such a fun movie.
It is. Good job on that.
Thanks. It's great production design too. The sets on that movie are stellar.
Yeah, Martin Campbell's a great director.
Great sword fighting as well.
It's legit.
I was blown away when I was watching because I watched it.
It holds up.
I want to say in the early winter of 2022.
And the score
is great, but the sword fighting is awesome.
It looks legit.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's not like people just like hitting swords just to hit swords.
It is legit. It looks like some people got hurt on set.
Oh, for sure. Great stunt work. But Antonio, he was a superhero before superheroes were huge.
Yes, sir. All right, guess this movie release year. Serpico for the mayor.
1981.
1973.
Oh my god, I was so off.
He snuck that in, but he snuck that in between. What did he make in 72? Pacino.
Pacino in 72. He's a
Godfather. Yeah,
part 2.
So he snuck that in.
Yeah, part 2 or 3.
No, part 1's 72.
Part 1, I thought it was 71.
I'm pretty sure Godfather's 72.
No, is it?
Hold on, let me double check.
I thought part 2 was at 72.
Yeah, and Godfather's 72.
Oh,
so that's what I was saying.
And then part 2 is 74.
Yeah, so I was saying he snuck it in between them.
I got what you're saying.
Just like Coppola snuck in the conversation. Great, sick reference to
reference, bro. The gentleman.
The gentleman.
Hugh Grant.
No, not the gentleman. The Gentleman, yeah.
Yeah, The Gentleman.
Dude, I love that movie.
Clearly.
Hey, you know what? I've only seen it twice. And Hugh Grant is great.
All right, guess some movie release here. The Elephant Man.
Speaking of Juliette Binoche. Oh, no, that's in English patient. I don't know what I'm thinking of. The Elephant Man. 1989?
80.
80. Damn, it's pretty old.
It is, yeah.
Pretty old.
One of David Lynch's early movies, actually.
Yeah. Moving on to movie pop quiz. Now let everyone guess, okay, Anthony?
Okay.
What was Sidney Lumet's first feature-length film?
Fuck. Was it Serpico? I'm wondering. No, I think he was because he made 12 Angry Men. He was making movies well before Serpico. I'm going 12 Angry Men.
Yeah, that's correct.
Best debut ever, probably.
Probably. That's insane.
Good question.
That's every year, like, people always talk about, like, directors' debuts, and they never look back on the past.
Like, most people aren't really watching
12 Angry Men was his first movie.
Yeah, it's one of the best movies ever
Citizen
made.
Kane was a debut.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's 12 Angry Men. I watched it again.
It's a top 10 movie all time.
I watched it last year. It really is unbelievable. It's really incredible.
I can't believe the camera movements he did in that movie in 1957. It blows my mind whenever I watch the movie. I'm like, how the hell did he do this in 1957?
That's honestly more impressive than Reservoir Dogs as a debut, honestly.
I love Reservoir Dogs as a debut, but it's not the best all time.
12 Angry Men. Sidney Lumet made a lot of great movies, but you could argue his first movie was his best one. Same thing with Orson Welles, and that's a rare thing. To really, it's like a band, like a great band.
You could still say that. I mean, speaking of Damien Chazelle, you could still say Whiplash is his best movie.
I do say Whiplash is his best movie.
I love First Man. La La Land's great.
Whiplash
might still be his best movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And after seeing Babylon, I think Babylon's number 4 in his filmography right now.
I agree.
But Whiplash is just a tremendous debut. That is otherworldly.
Great question though.
Thanks, man.
Sidney Lumet is
a legend.
One of the greatest American directors of all time.
Go through his filmography, everybody. It's so effing good.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
So he made that. I think he was 28 when he made 12 Angry Men. I think he was in his 20s.
I feel like a piece of shit
now. It makes you look back on like, what have you been doing? What have you been doing? To me and Anthony.
Oh my god. Oh man.
We're making moves though.
I didn't need to hear that.
So yeah, we're only turning 33 this year. March. 33.
Oh my god. And then his
Larry Legend 33.
And he went out high. His last movie was Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah, that's great.
Ethan Hawke, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Marissa Tomei. If no one's ever seen Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, watch that ASAP.
What year was 12 Angry Men? 68?
1957.
57. Oh yeah, he was making movies for Serpico was well into his filmography.
Well into it, yeah.
Well into it. Okay, here's my quiz question. Anthony Hopkins battles a bear in what movie?
What?
Anthony Hopkins
versus a bear?
Yeah. Come on, you know this.
Do I?
You know this.
He
fights a bear in what movie?
He fights a bear.
Anthony Hopkins. Come on. You got it.
It sounds so silly. Because all I can think of is Cocaine Bear in the trailer we just watched today.
It's a drama. This is a drama.
Anthony Hopkins fights a bear.
It's a survival drama. If that helps.
Not really. He wasn't in The Revenant, was he? Just kidding. I'm gonna be pissed when I get it wrong.
I think so because we watched it quite a bit when we were younger. It was like on TV. It was like on Spike TV a lot or something.
Anthony Hopkins versus a bear. It just sounds. It's a funny sentence.
It sounds funny. That's why I chose this. I figured it would throw you off.
What effing movie is this?
I don't think you got it. You should just let me tell you.
Hold on. Let me think.
It's already been like 2 minutes.
It's a podcast, bro. You got somewhere to be?
No one wants to listen to you think for 30 minutes.
People are listening to us because they love us. Okay, man.
True.
They're great people, and they're in the car. They're in traffic, and they're like, "I'll let Jim take as long as he wants. I ain't got nowhere to be, Anthony. Why are you trying to rush me off the podcast, Anthony?"
Right, quit stalling. Think about it.
I don't know.
See, The Edge.
Oh yeah,
with Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. I remember it now.
Yeah, he plays a intellectual genius, and he helps outsmart the bear.
The bear.
I knew you weren't getting it.
All right, now are we on to our haters of the week and subscribes?
We got some good ones.
We have some Twitter unsubscribes too, but go for yours first.
Okay, I'm curious to hear those. All right, so Nathan Goffnet 5693 wrote, "How dare you not mention Halloween Ends in the terrible movie segment?
I can't believe we forgot it.
Well, the thing is, we didn't watch it,
True.
so I didn't even want to watch
We
it.
didn't have to. Like, we saw Halloween Kills.
Yeah, I didn't. So we didn't watch it. I didn't want to watch it because I hated the last one, and I just felt like this was just a cash grab, and it looked terrible. So we were like, I'm not even going to waste my time watching it. So that's why, Nathan. But appreciate your comment.
But also, we didn't really go into that with a list of the worst movies. We were just kind of riffing.
You played it by ear, yeah. And then MK6 Alex wrote, "How dare you? How dare I?" is actually from Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 1, not 2, unsubscribe.
When I said that in the episode, I was like, someone's going to call me out. It's the first one, isn't it?
That's when he's fighting with Aunt May?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
How dare you? How dare I? How dare you?
Kev to the B wrote, "This episode was hilarious. Also, Ethan Hawke is not in Doctor Strange. Unsubscribed." Did we say that? I can't remember.
Ethan Hawke and Doctor Strange?
I meant the director, Scott Derrickson, made Doctor. He did a good job with Doctor Strange. Is what I said. No, I was saying.
No, I'm kidding.
I was saying I was saying Scott. Maybe okay. I did say it wrong. All right, this is a good one. Royal Wren wrote, "Didn't even mention the pivotal, if not groundbreaking scene where Benoit Blanc plays Among Us. Unsubscribed."
I thought we did bring it up.
Well, then an official Nile wrote, "They mentioned it at 47 minutes 50 seconds."
Unsubscribe, resubscribe.
And then MK Alex, who also did the Among Us comment, wrote, "How dare you?" They wrote. I'm sorry. Hold on, I got it right here. Sorry, these are all screenshots. All right.
So someone said we didn't say Among Us, and then someone said they said it at 47 minutes, and then the original commenter replied with what?
And then so Royal Wren wrote in our next episode, "Didn't even mention my Among Us comment in this episode. Unsubscribed." And then I clarified that we recorded it like a week before that episode posted. So then they were like, "Oh, no worries." And then we have, this is a funny one, Harrison Kent 5. "I noticed that the Knives Out episode sounds fine when I have both headphones in, but wonky when I only have one in. Maybe the issue has to do with mono versus stereo listening. Anyways, unsubscribe."
Yeah.
I like the casual, nonchalant unsubscribe there because it was lowercase too. And then Braden Bish wrote, "I can't believe I only heard one knocked it out of the park during the whole baseball episode. Unsubscribed." We dropped the ball on that one. That's it.
I have all right, let's hear the Twitter unsubscribed.
So James handles the Twitter.
Yeah. I've been going hard on the paint and Twitter the last week and a half, and it's been doing really well.
The board.
We were like chilling at like 1,300. I would tweet like maybe once a day because I get sick of Twitter, but I've just been going hard on like 4 to 5 tweets a day.
Yeah.
Got it up to like 1,500 followers, getting like 20 to 50 a day.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Getting a lot of engagement.
I just looked at some of them today.
Getting a lot of engagement because now on tweets you can see how many views your tweet got because so many people look at tweets but they don't engage, like, comment, or retweet.
It's a fraction of people.
So, but you see like some of your tweets will get like 6,000-7,000 views, and obviously it's just increasing engagement to the show, so it's stupid to not keep posting. But now I've been posting a lot. I'm on there a lot, so hit us up on Twitter. It's at Raiders Lost Pod is our Twitter handle, but also if you just search Raiders of the Lost Podcast, you'll find us. This is from Jordan Jr. Fluffy Master. He wrote, "Just listened to the Glass Onion review, and I can't believe there are no new unsubscribes. Unsubscribe!"
That was a good one.
Great.
That's a good one.
All right. Now, well, let me see if we have any new 5-star reviews on iTunes, Apple Podcasts.
Please do.
That'd be great. And in reference to the funniest episode we've done, is that the best and worst horror of 2022 that you were talking about?
Yes.
That was a really funny episode we did on
It
Monday.
was very funny.
It was or on Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
It was a hoot.
It was a laugh riot.
All right. Do we have, and yep, we got a new one. Awesome. This is from Jay Craig. "Do you love movies? Start listening. James and Anthony do a phenomenal job of reviewing each and every movie, TV show that they talk about on their podcast. Origin stories, franchises, dramas, they review them all. I found Raiders in the summer of 2020, and I love listening to them when I mow the lawn and when I'm driving. One movie that I absolutely love that they recommended is The Departed. I will never unsubscribe from these guys, and thankful that I can support them on Patreon. Oh, thanks so much, pal.
You wicked pissa guy.
I'm so glad that, when you're mowing the lawn, you're listening to us.
Yeah, it's
I
nice.
appreciate that. Origin stories.
How's the lawn coming? I hope it's going well.
I love a guy that takes care of a lawn, man.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like I mowed the lawn at mom's house the last time I went home. It took a while. It took a long time.
She got a big lawn.
Yeah, she's backyard and a front yard and like the side yard. It took me like 2 hours. I was wiped. I was dead. I was like
exhausting.
I was like, why don't you just hire someone?
So she got sons for.
Because then you gotta rake it.
She got 6 sons. At least you could mow our goddamn lawn.
It's true. It's true. I would if I was home.
But we spoil mom.
Yeah,
we love her. Jay Nice, she's coming to the live show. If anyone's coming to the live show, she'll be there in person. Jay Nice, Deveney.
The one and only.
She'll be there. You can say hi. You can take a photo with her if you want.
She'll probably get more photos than us.
I'm like, Mom, people are going to be happy that you're there. You're kind of a celebrity on the show. All right, moving on to On This Day in Film History. Today is January 9th. In 1894, William K.L. Dixon's motion picture Edison Kinetoscopic Record of a Sneeze, a.k.a. Fred Otto's Sneeze, receives first U.S. copyright for the format. It was filmed a few days earlier at Edison Studio, West Orange, New Jersey. In 1959, Rawhide with Clint Eastwood premieres on CBS TV. In 1964, Goldfinger is released. In 2000, Goldfinger. Malcolm in the Middle premieres in 2000.
You really went into that. Your face.
In 2009.
You're like, finger!
Hey, I'm a performer, man. In 2009, Gran Torino is released. And in 2011, Shameless and Bob's Burgers premiere.
Get off my lawn.
Happy birthday to J.K. Simmons.
Oh, wow.
And my streaming recommendation is going to be Rosetta on HBO Max. This is a film from the Dardenne brothers, the Belgian filmmakers, who are terrific, make some of the best stories you'll see on film. Highly recommend getting into the filmography. Anthony got me into them back in Anthony's basement movie dungeon days, and when we were about 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Rosetta in a long time, but I saw that it was on HBO Max, and I was interested in watching a Dardenne brothers movie after we did our Safdie brothers movies, who are hugely influenced by the Dardenne brothers. They're terrific filmmakers from Belgium. Great grounded stories, character studies about, low-class citizens, everyday citizens, just normal people, just making interesting and relatable stories.
Real life
about
conflicts.
struggle.
Yeah.
Great stories. But if just to increase your film palette, get into international film, get into European films, not UK, outside of the UK, get into European films, as well as obviously South Korea, China, Japan, everything. But, there's a rich history in Belgium of film, in France, obviously. But I think the Dardenne brothers are a great way to expose yourself to films outside of Hollywood, and it will blow your mind, some of the movies you'll see. They will floor you.
Yeah, you should. If you love films and you want to learn more about filmmaking, they are some of the best working right now, and they really have incredible long takes that are just mind-blowing sometimes.
Shocking realism is one of the best ways to describe their style.
Yeah, they started in documentaries, and then they brought that aspect in style filmmaking into their storytelling, and it's really profound work that they've done. All of their movies.
So yeah, Rosetta is on HBO Max. Follows a young woman who'll do anything to pay her rent and keep a job.
Yeah. My streaming recommendation is also a international film from one of my personal favorite directors, Michael Haneke. This film is called Benny's Video. It is a dark family drama and is incredible, so intense, and never seen anything like it before. Like all of Michael Haneke's films, my personal favorite is The Piano Teacher, but then Amour is probably his masterpiece. He's made a lot of really remarkable films. Cash is another great one. The White Ribbon. The White Ribbon might be my favorite. It's hard to pick a favorite.
Not to mention the best home invasion movie.
Yeah, Funny Games.
Obviously, Funny Games, which he made in his home country, but then he made the American Hollywood remake, starring Naomi Watts and what's his name from Reservoir Dogs?
Tim Roth. He's also multilingual, so some of his films are Austrian and some of his films are French, and he works with Julia Binoche a lot as well. Interesting, a double.
So many coincidences.
So many Julia Binoche
episode.
references in this. But Michael Haneke, if you don't know him or his films, just like the Dardennes, I highly recommend you check him out.
All right.
On the Criterion Channel.
Yes.
Criterion Channel.
Criterion Channel is lit.
It's only $10.99 a month. It's way better than any other streaming app.
Absolutely. But yeah, check out Michael Haneke's films and the Dardenne Brothers films. That's your homework, everybody. We should start giving homework assignments.
We should.
I think our recs usually people take them and watch them.
I hope so.
We should give more homework recommendations because we want you all to expand your palettes because we're always expanding our palettes and watching films outside of Hollywood, which is really important because it makes you get a better understanding on film.
I really want everyone to listen to our show to get the Criterion Channel, honestly. And I know it's like, oh, subtitles and there's that, it's that running joke, but also like the films made internationally, especially in the 90s and 80s, they really are remarkable. And Hollywood is independent Hollywood is kind of catching up. And
it's interesting because we'll get these great independent films that come out in America and the UK and in Hollywood. In recent years, there've been a lot of really terrific ones, and people are like, I've never seen anything like this. This is really great. And we're like, we've been watching movies like this they've been making these in France for 30 years.
Yeah.
And so like that's why we wish people would expose themselves to films outside of the Hollywood system and outside of the UK, outside of America, even outside of Australia.
Outside of the English language.
Yeah.
Just outside.
Just go to other countries because they've been making movies that you're falling in love with the last few years, the style of filmmaking, the character development, and just the writing and the tones of these movies that you're maybe weren't exposed to in your youth. They've been making these kinds of movies for decades.
Yeah.
In France.
Yeah. Europe has always had great artistry with filmmaking ever since the 60s. And it's still there.
It's not controlled by corporate culture like it is here.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons.
Exactly. 100%.
There are no overlords.
No monolith corporations.
Could you change that script a little bit to this one that I'm holding in my hand? All right. Let's get back into Johnny Depp.
Johnny.
You want to do another list?
Let's do what are your top 5 underrated Johnny Depp movies?
Underrated movies. You got it.
Top 5.
Number 1, I'm going The Ninth Gate. I talked about it earlier. It's a Polanski movie. Love the angels and demons aspect, heaven and hell. Are they real? Do they exist? Is there supernatural walking among us? It's such a fun movie. I love mysteries. It's kind of noir at the same time, but contemporary at the time. I think he's terrific in this movie. Great supporting performances. Creepy as
Frank
hell.
Langella.
Yeah, Frank Langella, you're right. It's dark as hell. Really dark opening to this movie. But I think people really enjoy The Ninth Gate if they gave it a shot. If you've never seen it before.
Yeah,
it's got a fucking trippy ending. Crazy ending.
Crazy.
It's out of hell, man. It's out of hell. Number 2 on my top 5 underrated movies, I have Sleepy Hollow. I love everything about this movie. Sometimes the script isn't too great, but I think what Johnny brought to the character of Ichabod Crane is something that was really needed for it because no one had ever done a Sleepy Hollow feature-length film until that point, I believe, and it's a really interesting
It's a famous
story.
Gothic story.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it just suits the world of Tim Burton and Johnny Depp so well working together. Christina Ricci, Christopher Walken is great as this, in this movie. I won't tell you who he is in case you haven't. That sounds like it. That's his one line. He's got one line. He just screams. But I love the production design. I love Johnny Depp in this movie. And I brought this up before that I guarantee Guy Ritchie.
Sorry.
I guarantee Guy Ritchie, when he made the Sherlock Holmes movies, especially the first one, he took inspiration from Sleepy Hollow. The production design, the coloring, the wardrobe, the little gadgets that Ichabod Crane has, they're very similar to like the style that he
Even
made.
the hair.
Yeah, it's very similar to Sherlock.
Yeah.
And Sherlock Holmes, the first one that came out in, 2009? And I think it's such a fun movie.
2009.
It's so cool.
God.
Number 3.
It's almost 15 years old.
Whew.
Oh my God.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I have number 3 on my list. It is a trip of a movie. It's so unique. It's rare to get movies like this, but still, they're pretty successful. I mean, Johnny, all of his movies, even outside the franchise,
Make a profit.
They make good money.
Yeah.
I mean, even movies like Donnie Brasco made 85, Below made 83, 87. His movies still make money.
This is when studios were happy with making under $100 million. You know what I mean?
Now they'd have to make a $500 million.
Yeah, that's the thing is like those are studio movies, but like they're like, oh, $80 million, this is a good profit. Nice job. But now it's like, we need to make $600 million.
But I think the performances from Johnny as well as Benicio del Toro as a supporting actor in this film just make this such a fun ride, an absolute trip. It's fun to watch if you're just like a little tipsy or feeling a little warm. It's just
On what?
on life. Okay, man. It's one of those movies. It's better to watch when you're like a little buggy.
Oh yeah, buggy.
But it's a wild movie. Number 4 on underrated movies for Johnny Depp's career, I have Ed Wood, another Tim Burton Johnny Depp character piece based on a real director, like one of the worst directors of all time.
The Tommy Wiseau of the 40s.
It's really funny. His character, he goes all in on it. Great voice, great physical acting as Ed Wood, this real life person brought to film this fictional movie. And I think it's just a great underrated
awesome
movie.
cinematography, too.
No one really talks about it.
Nobody does.
And then I'm only saying that this is underrated because of all the movies that people talk about instead of it. I'm going to say Blow.
Mm-hmm.
I think Blow is an excellent movie when it comes to crime movies, specifically drug movies, what's it called? Smuggling movies. There are actually quite a few, especially in this era. Like drug movies were big in the 90s and 80s.
It's because of Goodfellas.
Yeah, I think Blow is super cool. He plays a real life person, George Young, in this, and I think it's excellent.
He worked for the Medellin cartel.
Yeah, I think it's excellent, and I like the character design. Salma Hayek opposite. I mean, I'm
Whoa!
Penelope Cruz.
Canceled. See you later.
Penelope Cruz.
He's out. He's out, folks.
I was thinking Salma Hayek.
All right, this is now the Raider of the Lost podcast.
I saw the Magic Mike trailer, and I can't stop thinking about Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek looks great.
One of
in
my
that
all-time
trailer.
crushes for sure, and
she looks amazing. Penelope looks amazing.
I've been thinking about her ever since.
Who has better hair, Johnny Depp or Penelope Cruz in this? 'Cause Johnny's hair is great.
It's pretty good.
His hair goals.
But I think
it's a good top 5.
Yeah, but I think honorable mention is Chocolat as well. Even though it's a box office success, people don't really talk about that movie ever.
Well, speaking of Chocolat, so my top 5 underrated movies are. I also have The Ninth Gate, but it's at my number 5. Ninth Gate is terrific, amazing mystery, suspense, thrills. I love a good investigative film. And when they're done well, it's like I just watched Chinatown the other day. It's just like sometimes it's just like what the doctor ordered. You know, great investigative drama.
Well, Miss Mulroney.
Then I have at number 4, Sleepy Hollow. For all the reasons you said, I really enjoy it. I always watch it in the Halloween season. I think it's really a definitive Halloween movie. I love the cinematography and the score, productions. I just love Victorian era stuff. And Johnny Depp brought a lot of comedic humor and physical comedy to Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, he's actually really
he's very funny.
Doofus at the same time as being like a
kind
great
of aloof.
detective. Yeah.
I love it. It's a funny performance. And then number 3, I have Public Enemies, Michael Mann's film. I think it's a great cops and robbers movie and gotten very little attention. It did okay, modestly well at the box office. But I mean, you have Johnny Depp and Christian Bale leading a movie. It's like, come on.
It's so well made, too.
Well, it's Michael Mann.
And for crime epics, it's pretty great, man.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah, Marion Cotillard is really fantastic in it as well. But I really liked it. I think it's in the shootout, the epic shootout at the end is insane. And then at number 2, I have From Hell, which is the Jack the Ripper investigative Victorian era thriller. And it's another just a super underrated. It's not perfect, but I love it. It's terrific. The actor who plays Hagrid, what's his name?
What's his name? Robbie Coltrane.
He's in it as well. And Johnny Depp's just terrific as the detective on the case. I mean, it's like we're so used to serial killer movies, but this is from 200 years ago, which is very cool lens to look at it through. You know what I mean? And then number 1, I have Chocolat. I think Chocolat is so great. I am a sucker for a good romance, and the music, the setting, Juliet and Johnny are just like what a good-looking pair. It's
the
like,
close-ups.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then the chocolate. I remember our mom really liked it.
It was big
She had it on. She had it on a lot.
It was a big movie with the ladies.
And I remember watching it with her a few times and just like really like, whoa, this is a really good movie. Like 10-year-old me.
He's like, it's really hot.
It's pretty steamy in here. Did they just have sex on that boat? Whoa.
I'm like, they eating chocolate?
But it's super romantic. I think it's really great. I really like Chocolat. So that's my number 1 most underrated Johnny Depp movie.
All right, let's get into another list. Which one do you want to go? 10-year-old Anthony is awoken by Chocolat.
Let's do 5 worst movies.
Okay.
It's 5 worst movies.
Johnny Depp's 5 worst movies.
He's made some stinkers.
His worst movie, in my opinion, is The Astronaut's Wife. This is a movie that he stars opposite Charlize Theron. It does not deserve a watch. I'm sorry.
You know what's funny is they have like the same exact hair in that movie.
Yeah,
short blonde hair.
He looks like Jude Law and Gattaca in that movie.
He does.
Yeah.
He looks, because he dyed his hair blonde and he has like Jude Law's hairstyle
From that movie.
I'm guessing Charlize did it after the Devil's Advocate, which is why she has the
short hair.
Yeah, the short hair. But like their hair's too similar in that movie. Like they're a married couple and they have the same hair.
It's just not a good movie, everybody. Next up, I have Mordecai, which
it's bad.
It's a movie. It's a movie.
It's a movie.
Next up, for number 3, I have Dark Shadows, which is also a movie that him and Tim Burton made. Fourth, we have Transcendence, which was Wally Pfister's first foray into directing feature-length films after being a cinematographer working with Christopher Nolan for so many years. Transcendence was not it.
It was not Transcendent.
It's a movie. It was not transcendent, like Anthony said. And then Alice in Wonderland 2, Through the Looking Glass. I did not love that movie.
I don't think anyone
I'm putting
did.
it on my 5 worst Johnny Depp movies.
All right, here's my list.
Seemed like a cash grab.
Mine's not far off from yours.
Okay.
It's actually, I think, all the same ones almost. So number 5, I have Alice in Wonderland 2, Through the Looking Glass. I couldn't make it through the film. I ended up turning it off. It was just bad. And then The Tourist at number 4.
Oh, yeah,
The Tourist. The Tourist is supposed to be a comedy, but there is no comedy that exists in that
I can't bring
movie.
myself to finishing it. I still have never finished it.
It's so uninteresting, and you know Angie and him were just like, hey, yeah, get us the $20 million paycheck. Whatever.
We're gonna film in Europe? Okay,
Whatever.
Fine, Europe,
It's-
beautiful sets.
Oh my God, it's just bad. And then at number 3, I have Transcendence, which, like James said, Wally Pfister's debut. It's really bad. It's the story that's bad, and it gets more ridiculous.
The
as
script is just...
it gets so ridiculous, and then like all of a sudden, nanotechnology is just all over the place, and it's just unwatchable. Honestly,
When they're slowly climbing up that ladder.
oh
I'm just
yeah,
like,
the guy
what
jumped.
is
Yeah,
happening
yeah.
right
I was
now?
like, oh my God, he's not. I don't think he doesn't have it as a director of films.
I don't know if he doesn't have it. It's just that I think he started too big and too broad in
Yeah,
a complex
maybe.
story for your first film.
But still, like a shot like that, it was like I remember in the theaters we laughed. We were laughing at this movie in the theaters. I remember.
It just wasn't it, man. It's just, I think he should have started smaller because I'm sure he's a talented director. I'm sure he's got it. I mean, he's been on sets for so many.
Well, he's been directing commercials since.
I'm sure
and
he could do it.
he's probably like one of the top commercial directors
He
right
should
now.
have just done something smaller.
Well, I think the commercials pay really well.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
instead of Transcendence. But
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
when you're working, when you're Chris Nolan's DP for 15, 20 years, you probably want to do something big in scope and scale like him as well. And
Yeah,
something
yeah,
sexy.
yeah.
And Chris was a producer on it.
Sexy.
Sci-fi, big.
Nothing
big
sexy
budget
about Johnny Depp being shaved.
Yeah, Anthony was not awoken by that like he was with Chocolat.
All right, now at number 2, I have Dark Shadows, one of the more recent Tim Burton collaborations. It did not work. The comedy was just weird. The story it just didn't work at all, and Ava Green's character, like being obsessed with him, was just it never played, and the story was just not there. And then at number 1, I have Mordecai for the worst Johnny Depp movie. Like I said earlier, I couldn't finish it. I did watch some of it, and it is disastrously bad. Not funny, absurd. I'm sure everyone involved got paid pretty well, but it is basically unwatchable, and I would say the worst thing he's ever done.
You know what's wild about Johnny Depp? He's so talented. He's such a star. Dark Shadows made $240 million at the global box office.
Wow, still earns some money.
Tim Burton and Johnny Depp put butts in seats.
They sure do. All right, now, what are your top 5 Johnny Depp movies?
Top 5 movies. All right, let me pull my list up. This is the big one. All right.
For all the marbles.
Should I go? I'll go 5 to 1.
Yeah, you keep going 1 to 5. Go
Sorry.
5 to 1. Keep the mystery.
Suspense.
Yeah,
Mystery.
suspense.
All right, number 5. I'm going to go Donnie Brasco. I think it's a great movie. Like I said, very underrated crime movie. Him and Al Pacino, amazing chemistry. And I just love watching those two actors together. Hold on, let me clear my throat for a second.
You okay there?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It's the wine.
It might be.
I say that every episode. At
Donnie
some point.
Brasco is awesome. Again, it's based on a true story, and he plays an undercover FBI agent infiltrating a crime family. And it's kind of like one of those characters where is he becoming too attached to the people inside of it, and it's a great story if you've never seen it. I love mob movies. I love FBI crime movies or undercover movies, and man, they're both tremendous in this movie as co-leads, basically.
Oh yeah.
Johnny's the lead, but Al's awesome. Next at number 4, I have The Ninth Gate. Talked about it plenty. We just ranted about it. I love that movie. It's tremendous. Number 3, Edward Scissorhands. Oh, wait, hold on. I skipped one. I'm sorry. I have Blow next. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Blow is next. I like that movie a lot.
You got all the crime ones on it.
And then, I love crime movies. And then Edward Scissorhands.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 1, I have Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Great picks.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's a no-brainer to me.
I also have Donnie Brasco at number 5. Again, underrated crime movie. Really terrific in his filmography. Just flat out, just a really good film from start to finish. And then at number 4, I have What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Terrific performances, a heart-wrenching story. Johnny Depp gives a more nuanced, restrained performance, but in a lot of ways, it is easily you could see and recognize it as one of his best, even though it is not as showy as his other performances.
And such a young age, too.
Yeah, I would say it's his most personal role, by far. And then at number 3, I have Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, which I adore. I'm not a big musical person, but I really like this film. Sometimes, if I find the right musical for me, I really like it. And this is one of those. Cinematography, the songs, the cast is terrific. The production design, the costume of everyone. Helena Bonham Carter, opposite Johnny Depp, always is just lightning in a bottle. And
Helena Bonham Carter is Tim Burton's Muse.
His-
And for
she's
Uncut
his
Jobs.
Muse.
His Muse for Uncut Jobs.
She was his muse when he wrote Sweeney Todd. And the gore is sensational.
Those meat pies look good, though.
The deaths are great. The kills are amazing. Then at number 2, I have Edward Scissorhands for its magical quality, its inventiveness, its ingenuity, its unique aspect of storytelling. So many great qualities about that film. Danny Elfman score early for him. And obviously Johnny and Winona are perfect together. And then at number 1, I also have Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. It's, besides indie, it is the ultimate action adventure film. It is fun, large in scope, massive in its production, but still so well crafted, so well acted, extremely lovable, memorable characters, amazing score, and just flat out so much goddamn fun. And I love it. And Jack Sparrow really is what makes it all mesh and work.
Now, Johnny also has some roles that I think don't work. There are some characters that I think didn't completely do it for me. I would say him and Tim Burton's interpretation of Willy Wonka for when they did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it didn't really work for me. And I think maybe, obviously you can't replicate what Gene Wilder did. I appreciate that he didn't try to do an impersonation of Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka, because, I mean, that's like his best role in life is Willy Wonka. And
Gene Wilder, yeah, he's most remembered for that.
Perfect in that role. And obviously Tim Burton and Johnny did something different with their version of Willy Wonka. I didn't really love it that much, even though it was a very successful movie. It's just not really talked about critically, and I think there's a reason why it'll probably be forgotten.
I actually agree with you. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's cool, and I like it when I saw it a couple of times, but I don't really regard it as a very good film, and I don't really have a desire to see it again. So I actually
low rewatch value.
I agree. What else?
What else does he have that doesn't work for me? Let me run through. Let me run through his filmography.
Let's hear how much you hate Johnny Depp.
Well, obviously the movies that like the top 5 worst movies. But I mean, like, maybe I'm talking more just like big characters and big movies that
All right,
don't necessarily work.
That for me, that's the big one.
That might be the only one.
Okay, so there's actually, I want to get into
The Rum Diary didn't do it for me either.
Okay, all right. Johnny is very actually a prolific musician, and he started out as a guitarist, and he was working odd jobs before he became a successful actor. And then I read where he's in an interview where he was like acting to help pay for his life as a musician, like, which is pretty funny, and shows his like reluctance to like want to be like a famous actor.
Maybe that's why he's so good at it.
Yeah, but he's actually now played with a lot of very famous musicians, and also he hasn't just played with them, but recorded in some of their songs. So he's recorded guitar in several Oasis songs, and he's very good friends with the Gallaghers. In a lot of his films, he's actually helped play guitar in the soundtracks, and more prolifically in the films Chocolat and Once Upon a Time in Mexico, he played a lot of guitar in the score for it. Also, in the 1990s, he was a member of a band called P. This is a musical group featuring singer Gibby Haynes, Red Hot Chili Peppers bassist Flea, and Sex Pistols guitarist Steve Jones. And he also formed a Hollywood supergroup called Hollywood Vampires with Alice Cooper and Joe Perry. And he's friends with like Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. Like he plays with Ringo Starr all the time. And the Stones he'll play with, and obviously extremely close friends with Keith Richards. And it's just really cool that like he's been able to be successful both as an actor and as a musician. And one of my favorite parts about, I mean, we said we weren't going to talk about the Amber Heard trial and just about Johnny, but one of my favorite parts about the trial, from what I heard, is that she complained that he just played music with a bunch of old guys. It's like, it's Keith Richards. What are you talking? It's Keith Richards. Are you kidding me? It's Alice Cooper. Like, yeah, they're like the greatest rock stars of all time. It's Ringo Starr. Come on. But it's very cool to see him just work so well in music as well.
Just a very talented dude.
Yeah.
Now, what about your thoughts on The Lone Ranger? I think that's a movie that had so much potential.
Yeah.
And obviously they were hoping to...
Gore Verbinski as well.
He directed that. They were hoping to make another Pirates franchise, obviously, and maybe something that's successful. It didn't really work for me. I think that they could have made it a lot better, and I think Johnny's great, obviously, but that movie is that's a big budget movie that I did not love.
I would say that the Western genre does not work for huge scale action like they made it. Huge set pieces. You know what I mean? Because they
lots of CGI in that movie.
Yeah, because that movie had like over $200 million budget. It was the biggest movie produced that year.
It has to be several hundred visual effects shots.
Yeah. So for me, the Western shouldn't have that much CGI, and it doesn't belong in that kind of style of filmmaking. I understand that they wanted to like reinvigorate the Western genre into modern audiences. I think we know nowadays modern audiences are not interested in Westerns. Maybe in a TV show format, but not in a film format.
For a big budget.
For a larger budget. And also, a Western should not be a $200 million action adventure. I think it would have worked better if it was a much smaller scaled film.
I like 310 to Yuma a lot. That's a movie that's practically made.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, there's two big set pieces in that film, like monstrous set pieces, and it's a lot of CGI. And it just doesn't feel right in the Western vibe, in the Western genre.
I get it. I get that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they took a shot. You know, they can't blame them for taking a shot.
Yeah.
And trying.
Taking swings, get a miss sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially with huge budget movies.
Mm-hmm. But I love Gore Verbinski. That was the fifth collaboration I forgot to mention earlier between them. Mm-hmm. So other than Tim Burton, his number 2 director is Gore Verbinski.
I mean, Rango's great.
Yeah.
Rango has one of my like favorite movie quotes of all time where
what is it?
Hold on. It's where he like shows up to the crime scene. Hold on, let me pull up. Give me 1 sec. It's so funny.
Well, I can say something about Rango while you look it up.
I got it right here.
Okay.
I got it right here. So
I can't wait to hear it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome.
Shut up. Hold on.
I thought you had it.
It took me to IMDb.
You said you had it.
I had it, but then IMDb, and you know when IMDb you pull it up, you can't. You say something about it.
So what's interesting about Rango is they filmed it in a very non-traditional way where they actually did film the movie live action. So Gore Verbinski just filmed all the actors in this big warehouse, and they just filmed them with HD cameras. But all the actors performed the scenes in character, and they had just like their own put-together wardrobes, and they would build like it was just like an open room, but then they would just like put a bar for like a bar or just like a couple of chairs and a table there. It wasn't like they were making sets, but just making things and furniture for the actors to interact with. And then the actors, they didn't wear a wardrobe, but they wore like things that would like, help with them. And then Johnny Depp just like wore like one of his normal outfits, but with a cowboy hat. And the actors actually acted and performed all the scenes.
And the audio was picked up there.
The audio was picked up there with boom mics. And so the audio in that sounds more realistic rather than just studios, like an actor in a studio, like right up to the microphone
Which for me, hey, that's not what Ice Age sounds like, right, Anthony? It's not like Ice Age sounds like this.
Well, I think they do all sound like that.
No, they sound pretty good.
But I think I like the production of, actually booming the actor from, the way a normal scene would be filmed in real life. And then they took the footage and used the movements of the actors to inspire the characters they animated. It wasn't mocap. Nobody was wearing leotards with dots on them, but they used it as visual references and also to get the better performance from the actors.
All right, this is my favorite quote from Rango.
Let's hear it.
This is when he goes into the bank after it's been robbed. All right, folks, stand back, clear the area. This is a crime scene now. Secure the perimeter, dust for prints, check for fibers, scan for DNA. I want urine sample from everyone and get me a latte. Don't mix up the two.
That's very funny.
Funny because it's Rango walking into a saloon. It's
pretty funny.
bank. I mean,
yeah, it's good. It's cute. It's good.
It's a funny movie.
I was honestly hoping for a better quote, but
I think it's hilarious, man. You know what?
No, it was good. It was good.
You're making me feel bad now.
Don't feel bad.
You make me feel like a loser, man.
You're not. I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did. You said, Jim, you're such a loser.
You are putting words in my mouth. Do you think that Johnny Depp will win an Oscar?
No.
Really?
I don't think he'll ever win an Oscar, especially with the last 3 years of what's gone on in his personal life.
You don't think it will be a Brendan Fraser kind of resurgence?
I think that Johnny was never going to ever win an Oscar despite putting Oscar-worthy performances. He's been nominated 3 times. I feel like he should have won by now, but I think there's something maybe about the Academy that don't love Johnny Depp because he's not like a typical Hollywood A-lister. He's not a typical movie star. So I think there's something about him with the Academy where they'll never vote for him to win an Oscar.
I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, tell us, bro.
Shut up with that sarcasm. He's not a promoter. He doesn't go on the press tours. He doesn't
the luncheons.
He doesn't do the
schmoozing and
the schmoozing. It's like being
champagne.
A politician. When you're up for an award, you go to the banquets, you go to the luncheons with the press or what have you. You schmooze with the business people, and the studios set it all up, and they put together these things, and you talk to all these important people and. You shake hands with everyone. You kiss. It's like being a politician and kissing babies. And some actors don't do that. Some actors do.
They have to actually spend a lot of their own money doing that.
And it takes up a lot of time. It's like the Oscar season is like a season. Like they have to do a lot of just schmoozing and it helps them get the nomination and also helps them get the Oscar. It's not like, oh, vote for me. It's like.
How is that Cobb salad?
Yeah,
it
makes the voters be like, oh, I met him. Oh, I'm gonna vote for him. It gives them like that extra touch, that personal. It just helps put it over the edge and gives people a better chance to get nominated and also to win an award. So Johnny Depp's someone who never does that. Doesn't care about awards. Doesn't care about schmoozing. He's always been rejective of Hollywood. So I would say that's why he's never won an Oscar. But I think he might win in sometime in the next 10 years. I think he'll get a role that is perfect for the right moment for him and for the culture of Hollywood, and the stars will align, and he's on the way to forming a new comeback. I think that, the underdog story, the comeback story is very sexy for the press, and so I think that he has a good shot of winning an Oscar sometime in the next 10 years.
We'll see. Maybe they'll do it like Brad for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because Brad's great in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but is that an Oscar-winning performance?
When you compare it to especially the supporting actor category,
he's just being really cool, Brad Pitt the whole time.
Yeah.
He's great. I love that movie, and he's terrific in it. But
compared to Christian Bale in The Fighter,
when you look at Brad's entire career, is it even a top 5 performance for him? Probably not.
It's up there, but I wouldn't say it's top 3. No way. He's done better. He's done much better work. Benjamin Button's did a great performance.
Yeah, he's so good in that.
Yeah, Benjamin.
So it's it's kind of like the same thing. Will it finally come a day where the audience is like, you're right, it's the right role. He's gonna get the nomination. Then the Hollywood Foreign Press and the voters,
everyone will be like, yeah,
let's give it to Johnny.
Yeah,
we'll see. His personal life has a lot of controversy around it. Brad won before his personal life got a lot of controversy, which got brought up.
But I think that Johnny Depp has recuperated a lot in the last month.
With public opinion.
Yeah.
The court of public opinion has shifted towards Johnny Depp's favor for sure.
So that's why I think and
obviously we don't know anything about the situation besides what we've seen in the press and watching on TV and Twitter. So we don't know anything about it. we can't really speak on the trial or anything or what happened.
But I can speak on public opinion is in favor now.
Exactly.
It's in his favor.
That's a fact. It absolutely is. If you go on film Twitter, film talk,
or just like in the journalism and in the press,
it's also been interesting to see Hollywood like kind of like divide and split up between who they're supporting versus the two parties involved.
Yeah, it is. But we'll see. I think he can do it.
I mean,
Johnny, I think it's gonna be like a Brendan Fraser kind of comeback thing.
It's possible. But the thing with Fraser though, he's gone for so long. Fraser was out of it for like 15 years.
He wasn't not 15
years. When was Mummy 3?
Mummy 3 was probably 2011.
No
and
way.
And then Journey to the Center of the Earth was like 2008.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold the phone.
15 years that's a little extreme.
Journey to the Center of the Earth. Let's see when this first movie came out. 2008.
Oh my God, I was right on the money.
2008.
I was right on the Mummy.
Let me see. Mummy 3. 2008. Both 2008.
Oh, wow.
So like I said, 15 years.
That wasn't the last thing he did.
Yes, it was.
The Company Man. He did plenty of things.
Disappeared.
2008 was not his last year as an actor.
He walked into a fog.
Oh my God.
He walked into a fog and no one's seen him since.
I love how you just acted like you were right. 2008. I win.
I win, everybody.
I win.
I win. I have a 3, a jack, a queen, a 7. I win.
I win.
What's this game called?
I win. Filmography. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, so I would say his career really... So at 2010, 2011.
Brendan Fraser?
Yeah.
What are those movies he was in then?
Extraordinary Measures with Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Not too shabby starring with Harrison Ford in a movie.
But Harrison's been in some duds, bro.
Yeah, but it's still Harrison Ford.
He's been in some duds.
But then after that, it was just a bunch of movies I've never heard of. So, yeah.
Did you hear about the alimony he was paying?
I just did, yeah.
It was like $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
To his ex-wife.
Don't get married in California if you're rich.
$100,000 a month.
Yeah.
In child support alimony.
You have to maintain the lifestyle that you had when you were married.
She must have had a good lawyer, but my
goodness. No, that's the law in California.
Yeah.
You have whatever spouse makes the more money, they have to, after separation, maintain that lifestyle for the other person.
That's just what I've heard. I'm not sure if it's fact, so someone can fact check us.
No,
on
I saw. I read an interview where he said that. I read an interview where he said that.
$100,000 a month. That's goodbye to your fortune.
That adds up, especially when you're not working on movies that could help you afford that.
That's insane.
Yeah, when you can't maintain that payment cycle or that lifestyle, like you're just draining money.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
$100,000 a month.
Yeah.
What's your kid eating? Truffles? Like every meal, truffles. Let's get him a Capri Sun, call it a day.
Make him a grilled cheese.
I wipe my own ass. God damn, poor guy.
Chicken nuggets with truffle.
Truffle is expensive. It's called the black diamond in the black market.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Every fine dining restaurant uses truffle.
I think truffle's a little overrated. I enjoy it.
Get out of here.
Truffle's delicious. I never go out of my way to order it.
So I'll
eat sure, I'll try your truffle fries. I'll try your truffle risotto, but I'm not going to order it.
I love it. I get truffle ketchup at Trader Joe's.
This is not an ad.
This is like my thing.
I saw you eating it today. You were
with my meatloaf.
Plate. I can smell it down the hall.
It's so good. But they have this new tomato sauce. I never get canned sauce. I always make my own sauces. But something caught my eye at Trader Joe's the other day. It was this spicy chili truffle tomato sauce, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta try this."
Is there really truffle in it?
Yeah, it's truffle flakes in it. And I made it the other day. And it was probably, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not just being like a Trader Joe's whore over here. It was probably the best canned sauce I ever had.
It was if you like truffle.
But it wasn't it wasn't overpowering. You got the flavor, but it wasn't overpowering.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't even like as truffly as that ketchup, but you got the sense of it.
Their ketchup is very truffly.
Oh my God, it was so goddamn good. I was like, Jim might like this. It was. My mouth's watering thinking about it. I was like, this is the best buy I've made at Trader Joe's in a long time. It was for canned sauce. Oh my God, it was good.
I'm gonna have to try it sometime.
Yeah, you should try it. Honestly, I think you might like it because it's just so flavor. It wasn't truffly, and it has chili. So it has a good.
I like
kick.
chili.
There's the chili flavor, and I think it balanced the truffle flavor, and it had a kick to it. It was
it's like how much truffle is actually in there?
It's just truffle crumbs, like little pieces, tiny pieces of truffle inside of it.
I get why people like it.
So good.
It's just for me and my palate.
I love it.
Good. It's good.
Like in Rome, I got a carbonara, and he's like truffle. I was like, oh yeah, unload it, bro, unload
it. I get it, but it's not like my forte.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
I'll eat it. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna send it back or anything. And I will eat truffle fries or whatever.
Wow, look at you.
I won't order it though.
You are such a grown up.
Truffle chicken nuggies. I would go with those. Chicken tendies.
Chicken dino nuggets.
Chicken tendies with truffle. I'd eat that.
You're a big tendy person.
I love tendies. It's good protein.
You
man.
have a lot of tendies.
I consume maybe like a dozen a week.
It's a lot of tendies.
Well, it's like 6 at a time, man. That's how you get the gains.
Oh yeah.
It's delicious protein. The air fryer, the tendies. You think Johnny Depp has an air fryer on that Bahamas island?
I don't think he does.
I bet he has an air fryer.
He has to seem like an air fryer.
Yo, when you're drinking that much wine, there's no way you're not drunkenly making chicken tendies in an air fryer.
No, maybe in the microwave, but not in an air fryer. Air fryer is so specific way to cook.
It's so easy.
Yeah, but no.
Hey, listen, Johnny likes the finer things in life. He's gonna air fry his tendies.
He ain't microwaving his tendies, boy.
No way. They're too soggy. Air fryer life.
No, he's got a chef.
Probably, but I mean, sometimes the chef goes home and sleeps.
No.
Guess what he's making his tendies in? His air fryer.
Celebrity chefs, they cook 3 meals a day for them. There's become like a new thing on TikTok, celebrity chefs. It'll be like there's a couple. There's this girl, and she shows you what she makes during the day and like what she shops for.
I've seen this channel before, yeah.
Yeah, and the stuff she makes and she calls them her clients, and you can tell it's like she's talking, and she's like, my client requested this, and you're like, it's definitely like a 10-year-old.
Mac and cheese.
But she like makes the most amazing looking food, and it's like, imagine that. Like this, she just spends all day at their house cooking and shopping and preparing.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably pays so well. But imagine living the lifestyle of there is a world-class chef preparing food for you every meal. And it's not just food. It is like the highest caliber, quality, and creativity of that dish you can imagine.
I've seen her TikTok, and I've seen her go through her schedule of menus, and it's she like puts it like every month she has like a full calendar of menus ready to go. It's like so fascinating. It's so much work.
I wonder how much she gets paid. She makes bank.
She makes good money.
Because
I'm sure her Christmas bonus is huge too.
Yeah. And the food looks so good.
Yeah. Oh man, to be rich.
Not us, man.
Not us, guy. We got the chicken tendies.
I got the truffle ketchup.
That's when you know you're poor, when you eat truffle ketchup.
No, it is. Hold on, it's like
because rich people don't even eat ketchup, bro.
No. It's like $5, and it's in a small jar. So
exactly.
I spend a lot on that ketchup.
Oh yeah,
it's pricey ketchup.
$1 per ounce.
That is not poor person ketchup. No offense, but poor people are not getting that truffle ketchup. All right.
You know what? You're doing pretty well.
I'm middle class.
Then why are you wearing shoes from the movie? You bought $20 shoes on Amazon as a prop in his wardrobe, and you're wearing them.
They're so.
Mr. I'm not poor. Wearing $20 sneakers.
I'm frugal.
Frugal with your truffle ketchup.
Yeah, so now the truffle ketchup sounds fucked up. So the shoes. Here's the thing: the shoes. So they were actually like $18 on Amazon. I got them for the movie for a character to wear in one scene, and he wore them, and I was like, I'm gonna return them, and I was like, hold on, let me try them on. They're actually not that bad. So they're not comfortable to walk in, but they actually suck to walk in. But I like to wear shoes when I'm working at the desk.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be like sitting like Indian style or just like in socks and slippers and like.
Watch your language.
So sorry.
Canceled.
Sorry, was it called crisscross
applesauce? Get it right.
Sorry.
Canceled. How dare you grow up saying it like that?
So I like to nowadays I wear shoes while I'm editing or writing or whatever. It makes it feel like it's like I'm being like it's a job.
Like you're not a bum working from home in your bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. So it helps me feel like I'm more like professional. So these are actually perfect for it because they're very light and very comfortable when you're not walking. So actually,
so long as you don't stand up, they're great.
If you stand up, it's okay. If you stand up, just don't walk in them. They're like I wore them to the movies today. Like it's tough to walk in these.
They're good to wear if you're playing The Floor Is Lava.
It's like they're sandals just with the cover on. That's how comfortable they are to walk in. But they're perfect for sitting.
You're gonna get arthritis in your feet. I know it.
It's just a friggin' shoe.
I mean, if you have the wrong shoes, it hurts your feet.
I'm sitting. There's no weight on my feet.
You had to walk back here.
They're not that bad. You're wearing flats.
Yeah, but these are trainers. These are designed to be flat for working out.
Yeah, same with these. Oh yeah, tell me about the design.
These?
Yeah.
They're great.
Wow, thank you for getting so specific.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No arthritis with those.
No, these are specifically made for working out.
I understand.
Yeah.
I know what trainers
For
are.
lifting.
Yeah, I know.
Have you ever been in the gym?
The cameras are out.
We got the main one back.
Yeah,
the backup going.
Yeah. All right, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp.
We got the backup cameras. Most people are listening anyways.
That's true.
On Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It's okay if the cameras go out. You got anything else on Johnny?
I love the guy. I think he's a supreme talent and legend, icon, one of the greatest actors of all time.
Do you put him in top 10 all time?
No.
It's tough to put him in there because there are so many legends. How about top 10 like male lead actors? Is he up there?
Probably not, but I would put him in top 20.
Yeah, top 20 for sure. He's got to be.
There's a lot of great older actors.
I know.
And there's also a lot of great actors from other countries too, that I would put over him. But he still is. I mean, I could put him top 20 all time.
Top 20 male lead actors.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's up there for sure.
Yeah.
He's in there. One of the most interesting choices for roles. One of the best chameleons when it comes to actors in roles.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most eclectic performers and choice of roles in films, and just a really interesting guy. And I love
He's a cool dude.
I love the movies he chooses to do, and it's just he's so interesting. And we've watched his movies so much. And everyone listening to this, I know you grew up watching Johnny Depp, and he's one of your favorite actors growing up for sure.
Oh yeah,
that's why you're listening to this episode so long.
Me as a 8-year-old watching Chuck a lot.
No, you were 10 when you became a man. Shuck a lot. But I mean, the choices he's made in his career for roles, it's just fascinating. And I love when actors make those bold decisions. And, I think young actors today that are doing like Timmy doing movies like Bones and All, and other films that just like the typical A-lister star wouldn't pick, or like a heartthrob wouldn't pick. I love when people choose things out of like what everyone expects them to do.
Yeah.
And I think the career path he's chosen is so fun, and I love his roles in his movies. And I can't wait to see his latest film as Louis the 15th.
He's going to speak French in it.
Can't wait.
He's actually fluent in French.
Yeah.
His daughter's fluent, and his ex-wife is French.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he learned French when they were together in the 90s and became fluent. And so this is his first role where he's going to be playing it all French.
Can't wait to see it. I'm sure people are excited about it. And thanks for tuning into this episode of A Career Spotlight on Johnny Depp. And make sure to get your tickets to our live show. It's happening very soon, everybody. In 12 goddamn days. We got to figure out what we're doing.
Oh my God.
Today's the 9th. Yeah, it's going to be on January 21st. That's a Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Now, remember, that means that anyone around the world can tune in, and we've scheduled it so that it's 7 a.m. in Australia, it's 8 p.m. in the UK. So basically, anyone around the world where you're listening and watching our show, you can tune into the live broadcast of the show as we're performing, and you get those tickets from moment.co/Raiders of the Lost. And those are digital experience tickets, a third of the price of the live in-person tickets, which are still on sale for in-person in Los Angeles at dynastytypewriter.com. That's the name of the theater. It's the Haworth Theater, downtown Los Angeles, dynastytypewriter.com. Go on January 21st, just right there on the calendar. You can find us. You can get tickets to the show. Only $30, 200-seat theater. It's going to be an awesome, fun experience. It's an old movie theater turned into a stage theater. They got concession stands. It fits the aesthetic and vibe of the show, talking about movies. We can't wait to perform for everybody and have a live audience. Janice will be there, which will be super cool. Dennis will be there as well. But a lot of people are flying out and driving out. People have been messaging us. You're all so excited to come. And if you can't make it in person, again, just get the digital tickets online. They're only $12.
$12.
You also have access to a cool after party backstage with us.
And you can interact with us during the show with the chat box.
We'll be reading your comments on stage, and we'll have segments where on during the show where we talk to people online and everything. So it's gonna be super fun. We're very excited about it. It's our first live show, and we're going to try to make it as fun and interactive as possible. It won't be like a typical format that we do, but we want to obviously make it movie related, but also audience related, and engage with you in the crowd and also engage with you online. And we can't wait. So make sure to get those tickets. If the links will all be in the bio of this episode on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening. Just go to the bio. You can click on the links that I'll put there, or just go to the bios of our Instagram, Twitter accounts, everything. That link will take you to ticket sales, both types.
It's going to be awesome.
Well, thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in to our episode on Johnny Depp. Take care. See you next time. And hope you're having a wonderful 2023.
Bye, y'all.
This episode of Raiders of the Lost podcast was executive produced by our chosen one patrons: Luke Exelston, Tyler McFly, Darren Singleton, Anthony DeMeo, Becca Keene, Cody Moen, Benjamin Cook, Calvin Cam, Sal Koching, Nick Martin,
and Chandler Johnson. Thank you so much for supporting our show.
Raiders of the Lost podcast is a mirror image production. Sound mixing done by Jacob Kossler. Opening music by Chase Jackson.